Well, welcome to Training Tuesday, everyone. We are so glad that you could join in today for our infrastructure webinar on mid to high rises. My name is Heidi Reese, and I am with Dayton Superior's Marketing Training Department. And just want to go over a couple of items before we get started. Same as usual, everyone that has called in has been muted so that we can all hear the presenter and learn and have free disruptions free on the line. But please feel free to go ahead if you have any questions and enter them through the chat functionality in Zoom. At the end of the presentation, there will be a mini question answer session, and we can go over those. I will say them for you, and we'll have our experts answer them. In addition, each of our webinars are being recorded, and they are placed on our Dayton Superior YouTube channels, as well as the DaytonSuperior.com website. You can just search product videos to find the past ones and to see if there's anything of interest that you want to relearn on or to pass to a friend. So today's infrastructure topic, like I said, is on mid to high rise. And we'll be discussing the bundled approach that helps you with your solution needs and the maximization of productivity as well as profitability. It's always good, right? A few forming and shoring system solutions we're going to talk about include, but are not limited to, the drop head system, the deck fast system, and of course frame fast. Splicing connections and bar supports within our accessory lines. And then we're going to talk about the chemicals such as the grout and repair mortars. And in addition, we'll do some more. So with us today in our training is Chuck Hoke, who is our National Training Manager for Dayton Superior. I'm sure all of you guys on the line know who Chuck is, but I'm going to talk about him again. He's been with the construction industry for over 48 years. 20 of those were as a dealer for accessories, forming, and chemicals. And he's been with Dayton Superior for 28 years and knows the ins and outs of our products. He is a plethora of information and is a great person to talk with about how to use the products, what to use the products for, etc. He understands all of the business and is a great subject matter expert. So with that, I will leave it to Chuck to teach us all about mid to high rises.
All right, well, thank you, Heidi. Today, as we are going to talk about mid to high rise construction, this presentation is intended for training purposes only. So if you have any questions, please feel free to contact Dayton Superior, your technical representative for Dayton Superior, or go to DaytonSuperior.com. So today we're going to let's start with bundled solutions. What we're going to be looking at is what is the difference between our solution and our competitor solution. And with Dayton Superior solution, we typically offer what I consider a better bundled solution. For every project out there, we're always looking at how to increase reliability, increase efficiency on the project, which one helps your profit. We're going to hopefully look at lowering operating costs and obviously lowering the cost of ownership of the project. Your success obviously is important to us because if you succeed, we succeed. So we're going to look at increasing your investment, your ROI. So that's always a good thing, what everybody always seems to want to look for. So we will follow through with that. When we're talking about bundled solutions, current business model has you have a central hub purchasing that typically puts out feelers to all of the local distributors, manufacturers, etc., to bring product into the facility, into this project. The problem is it's hard to keep all of that straight. And a lot of times liability gets convoluted or tied up or lost within the mechanism of trying to save a buck or two by depending on who you're dealing with. With Dayton Solution, we actually offer you a better solution because we can have a single source here, which would actually include the Symons forming department, our splicing and our accessory and our chemical division all rolled into one. So basically, those topics are all basically covered by one single source in lieu of having 3 or 4 different sources to cover each one of those. We offer a pretty comprehensive, most of you people that know us, we offer a fairly comprehensive portfolio of solutions, basically to help assist the contractors in maximizing productivity and productivity. Obviously, the name of the game here is everybody has to be able to perform profitably, and that's what we're looking at, getting the most for our customers. Where we've got a full line of accessories that we'll talk about, a full line of chemical products here, everything from liquids to powders to epoxies, forming, we're talking from, we can do light forming, snap ties, coil ties, etc., going up to steel ply, sim ply, maxiform. So we get into the heavier forming systems, heavy civil systems. And then we also have shoring capabilities, which nobody else in the marketplace can actually offer the breadth of the product line that we do today. So let's start with Symons. Symons forming and shoring. Now, typically, we're going to see where Symons forming is going to come into place is they are going to come place on the basically any of the foundation walls, columns, etc. You're going to be looking at either steel ply, which is a handset system, sim ply, which is a gang form system, or you can get a heavy civil structure system, and similar to the garage beam system if need be, or to have Maxiform on site, Maxiform STS on site, or circular column form. So with Symons, you have a variety of options how you want to be able to have what forming system you want to use based off of productivity and pour rates and how fast you want to pour the concrete. We can do everything from perimeter walls with handset, with gang form. Typically with gang form, you're seeing perimeter walls being done on a regular basis. You're seeing a lot of that being done with the clamp system. A clamp system typically is very economical, easy to move around, easy to adjust if you have to move for a panel or two. And also, you can also customize your gang form to actually fit what you actually need for your job site conditions. We can also do core walls. So moving upward, we can do core walls with steel ply, with sim ply, with our spaceless system. We can do pretty much everything and anything. And when we start talking about core walls, we actually have to then start thinking about the flooring situation. What are we doing to actually accommodate the floor construction of every project? Well, let's start with the one of the older systems in the marketplace is the frame fast. The oldest system in the marketplace that we have, it has been around for a good number of years, a little longer than I've been in this business. It's strong, readily available across the industry, and can be basically pieced together. So you can actually make adjustable heights are no problem. You can actually create sloped floor slabs, etc. with this product. Like I said, It has been around for a long time, and typically when you look at frame fast, you're talking about the steel frames, the tubes, and the cross members that are accommodating it. If you look at the downfall on frame fast, is this right here, even though this is a constructed section, the problem that we have with it is a lot of pieces. You've got screw jacks on the floor, which connect to the frames. The frames then are connected by cross braces. And then you have a screw jack on top of it that actually is going to hold a stringer in place. And then the joists are going to be sitting on top of that, and then plywood on top of that for your lumber. And you're going to have stability braces included with this system. It is a lot of pieces, and it leaves in. Sometimes it gets a little crowded underneath the floor with this system here. One of the biggest drawbacks. One of our best solutions for forming today's marketplace is the drop head system. The drop head system uses a podium. Basically, a stand that comes up will hold the stringer in place. The cross braces, or excuse me, the joist will then be assembled with the stringer. It typically can go everything from 8 to, we see this system here because of the high speed and high maneuverability of the system, and the jumping ability for this system to go from floor to floor so quick. You're looking at, typically you're going to see everything from 1 to 8 stories in low rise. And typically in mid rise, you're going to see everything from 8 to 14. And we've actually seen projects even taller than that being used on a regular basis. You can typically have a large area, single story structure, flat slab. Drop heads are good for that. Band beams are okay. We can do band beams with that also. And also you're talking about typical different, variations within the floor slab we can accommodate. The drop head system leaves a large opening so that the maneuverability in and around the forms is still doable. So it really opens up, as you can see, where you don't have a whole lot of cross races running around to basically stop everybody from completing projects that need to be done on the earlier floors, so they can actually accomplish those projects before they actually move up to the next floor. Another solution may be DeckFast. DeckFast uses a modular slab shoring system, 2 primary components. Basically, you have your post shore and then you have your panels. The panels typically can support up to a 22-inch thick deck with clear heights from 6'9" to 19 feet. Typically assembles a lot faster than a lot of different conventional shoring systems, but it is a much better system for when you're doing basically 1 to 6 story, 1 to 7 story, and anything over that. Typically, we would probably recommend, because of the cycling ability of it, is the drop head system. We also have medium duty post shores. 7-foot 2-inch minimum clear height to a 10-foot 10.5-inch 550 post shore for reshore. We also offer, with all of our systems, drawings to accommodate every panel, every project consideration, right down to details and layouts are all included. And with all those drawings and everything, we can actually also have the chemicals and accessories. Now, the accessories on the end of it we're going to be looking at bar chairs. Bar chairs are, every job site has to have bar chairs to support the rebar to typically keep it positioned within the concrete slab. And we have a variety of chairs available. We have metal chairs, plastic chairs, with sand bases, without sand bases, upper material, lower material, plastic tipped, galvanized, stainless, and we have obviously all plastic material, which is typically acceptable throughout the industry for all types of rebar, primarily non-rusting, non-corrosive materials. But one of the things that is extremely commonplace in high-rise construction is metal. How do you connect the core wall to the slab, or your shear walls to the floor slab? And a lot of times what will happen is we can actually cast in the core wall, what we call a metal strip. For some of you old Dayton guys that are on here, sometimes it'll be called Jack in the Box. It's basically looks like a can of sardines is what I would like to say. It's put up into the concrete wall, poured into the wall. It's anchored into the core of the core wall slab. And what it is on the backside of it, you will peel the top of it off after you pour the concrete, and then bend the rebar back out. This is typically done with A706 rebar, so it is completely bend, rebendable rebar. And typically these will enable you to make a connection with the rebar for your floor slab. We typically see these in core walls, shear walls, parking structures. You'll see big projects that we did. We did the new Freedom Tower in New York City. Used a bunch of these on all the parking structures and the lower levels of the parking garage underneath the facility. So it is a very common product to be used. It is comes in usually 4 foot or 6 foot strip, can typically be tied into place, as you see here, tied into the rebar cage. Once the rebar cage is formed up, you'll slap your form up onto that, pour your concrete, then come back and you'll peel the cap off of it, exposing the rebar, and then bend the rebar back out. Another solution that we can do is we put keyways in the core wall slab with a dowel bar sub connection. Our DBDI, this is a male-female system, typically for completing a completed mechanical splice construction. Typically, you're going to yield 150% of physical yield, so it will be a type 2 connection. For those of you that understand what that is, the type 2 is actually designed to be the strength of the rebar or greater. This splice system has been around since about the mid-1980s. It is a product that typically is available in black or epoxy or galvanized steel. We can also get it in stainless steel if need be. Another system that's available is our taper lock system. Can be done with the same type of putting a bulkhead or putting a keyway joint in the core wall with the threaded mechanical coupler bolted to it, and then you can come back and connect mechanical thread rebar into it to actually complete a splice that basically gives you a continual connection from your core wall slab to your floor slab. And this is available in 4 through 18. We've got a full portfolio on products that are available with this, as far as end anchors, I'm trying to think, end anchors basically joints for transitions, and also parallel threads. As you can see, Here's the rebar being used for end anchorage. This project here was a job in New York City where the bars went into place. They actually put a threaded head on the end of the rebar. This actually enabled you to increase the shear cone pullout of the strength of the rebar, increasing the overall strength of the slab. We also have bar lock design for all your column work. Can typically be put in place here in lieu of a position coupler. The lock shear bolt system here goes into place and the bolts get sheared off. Once the coupler is installed properly, the bolts will shear off, giving you a positive notice that the bolts are broken off, they are installed properly and ready to go. Now for our chemical line here, we've got a full line of grouts, basically in the 1107, in the high performance and the high strength grout. For any of your patching materials, for any of your repair materials, we have a full line of repair materials, both in cementitious and epoxy type materials. And also we can get into whether we have to do a thin patch or a thicker area of concrete. We can actually accommodate those with depending on the mixed consistency of the product and whether or not it is extended or not. We also have thin surface repair material available. Lo and behold, we also have a full line of epoxy. So we can actually get into injection epoxies, epoxy grouts, and any of the adhesive and anchoring systems that are out in the marketplace that meet all current building codes. And we have full test data on all of our products. The availability is across the nation. If you look at where we are located, we are now have a pretty much if you look at our footprint runs from Maine to Arizona to Washington to Florida. And it covers a complete line, product line in every one of our distribution centers. One of the things, depending on what part of the region, what part of the country region you're in, underlayments play a big factor in how the floors are typically done. Typically, floors are done in New York City. They like to have a 4 to 5 day turn on the floor slab, so they will typically pour a floor slab and then move up to the next floor slab in 4 to 5 days. A lot of times what happens is the floor slab typically doesn't always come out with the best of finishes on it, and sometimes it's uneven. So what they'll do is they will come back later on and put a layer of underlayment on top of the floor slab to actually true everything up for the flooring guys to come in and be able to put their tile or their carpeting or whatever other substrate they're putting in place with it. At Dayton Superior, we also offer selection guides. We've got these are all available online for you to look at. Whether you have a liquid need or a powder or an epoxy need, based off of what you are looking for, we can run curing and seals. We got curing compounds. We also go into powders and repair materials and epoxies. And for resources, Dayton Superior, like I said, our handbooks, our tech data sheets, brochures, engineering services, etc. Typically, you can find all the handbooks and all the data sheets and any of the brochures on DaytonSuperior.com. Engineering services can be contacted by calling Dayton Superior. Any of your local sales reps in the area can actually help get that started. We have obviously a full range of salespeople in the marketplace. We have our standard district salespeople. We also have technical salespeople who specialize in select products within the product line. And we have a full service customer service contact information. And all this information is available to you at DaytonSuperior.com. We also have hired a new person that's actually in charge of business infrastructure to help put all this together. So he's going to be actually out there helping coordinate the Symons and the Dayton end of it, going to the customer to make sure that you get the best service and the best quality of product going forward. And his name is Andrew Gresky. You can reach him as you see the email down at the bottom of the page. If you have any questions, you can get a hold of him, or obviously you can get a hold of training at DaytonSuperior.com. That'll come into Heidi and myself, and we will relay the question on or answer the question right there. If you have any questions, please feel free to use the chat section of the screen on the Zoom meeting, and this will conclude the training session for today.
Thanks, Chuck. I actually learned quite a bit. I appreciate that. I hope all you guys online did as well. Like Chuck said, just to reiterate, if you have any questions for him on everything or anything that was discussed, just open up the chat functionality in your Zoom application there and type it in, and we'll get that answered for you. Do you want to reiterate? He already said it, but just so you guys are aware, if you don't know your contact for the technical sales representative or your other sales representatives and customer service, you can do that on DaytonSuperior.com, and there's an About Us link at the very top right header, and there's a Contact Us link that will shoot you off to a map that can tell you exactly where you need to call, and then we will make sure that you get taken care of. So as a reminder, these are being recorded, and there's a lot of good things out there. This year we're doing a lot of the 101s, so steel ply, sim ply, whatnot is out there, accessories, various chemicals. We have a chemical one coming up for next week, so feel free to go ahead and sign up. I just promoted the new registration link, so you can do that right now if you want. And do we have any questions? All right, well, if we don't have any questions, I really appreciate everybody coming in and listening to Chuck and myself, and I will let you know when it is available for download, and you can send it off to your friends and pop some popcorn and have a good time listening again. With that, everyone have a happy Tuesday. Thanks.